All right, let's get into the DC thing a little bit here with who or what we want out of the hire. So let's start with what before we get to the who. What are you looking for? Like check marks where you say, hey, this would make it a good hire.
I want kind of an infectious personality.
Okay.
And
Like an Eckler type?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want uh, like more about aggression than scheme.
Mm.
So
Teach violence.
yeah, I want guys that are. I want that guy.
You want guys that are, I know people aren't going to like, that act a little bit more like the offensive line in terms of demeanor.
Yeah.
You like that they're mean-spirited. However you feel about whatever else, you like where their headspace is at.
Yeah.
So you want guys like that on defense.
100%. Because I've seen a couple of good ones, and I'll just go back to recent years in taking some visits, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's Clark Lee or Coach Parker
Mhm.
or Tressel. It starts with temperament.
Mhm. Well, that's what you say about stopping the run, right? If it's about
It just starts with
if
temperament.
it's about attitude and
Yeah.
effort to stop the run, then temperament from the way down is a big part of that.
This has to be kind of infectious.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where I would start.
I think I want some experience. I would like somebody that's got a track record.
Okay.
And then I would, and Jack brought this up, but I think it's a good point.
Golden voice.
Yep. I would like somebody that I don't feel like their defense is overly complicated to get guys on the field.
Okay.
I think that's been a struggle with Nebraska across various coaching staffs where it seems like there's better players that can't get on the field because either they don't understand some of the intricacies of the defense or whatever. And I look at better programs that have been better than Nebraska over the last 10 or so years, and I say, hey, they seem to get young guys on the field a lot, even guys that aren't 5 stars. And so I ask myself, well, what's the difference? And the only thing I can come to is they make it easier for those guys to get on the field. So I would like experience, and I'd like a guy that makes it easy for your best athletes to get on the field. That's all I'm really looking for, I think, right? I would love somebody who's got like a history of development and things like that as well, but I think that more falls on position coaches than anything else. So I don't know how much, but experience doing this at a power conference level and the ability to get your best athletes on the field. Those would be my two things where, like, if you can do those things, I would feel pretty good about that. And I have a name that I think checks both boxes. And like I said, I think it would change how I feel about the offseason. I think it would do that for a lot of people too. You ready?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's realistic or not. Jim Leonhard.
I have seen that name floated.
That would be, I think, a 100% home run hire.
I think you're 100% spot on because he was
so good at this.
So it was early. It's probably second or third. He was up there in Caleb's initial offers.
Yeah, when he was at Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, he was the coach that offered.
And that was part of the reason Wisconsin was in it, right? Is he liked Jim Leonhard quite a bit?
Yep.
And his track record speaks for itself.
I agree.
He's incredible at this.
So you're willing to, because I heard the I told you so guys were telling me that the guys with NFL pedigree, the guys that are coming from the NFL, even though they've dabbled in college, like there's concern, right? That was
I would say more that Jim Leonhard
has coached enough in college where.
Yeah, I think he's dabbled in the NFL. Yeah. That's how I would put it.
But coached in college.
Yes, but he's to me, I look at him as like that is a college defensive coordinator, probably a college head coach someday if that's what he wants.
Coach Leonhard is not who I was thinking of. I like the
good hire though, right?
I like his demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
I like how he I think I know enough about him.
Yeah. So
you're probably different on the recruiting trail, but clearly we got a chance to.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember. Caleb went up to that Wisconsin-Illinois game, and I think Illinois may beat their head in.
Mm-hmm.
on that one, but that was like the second time of 3 that he had been up there. I like Leonhard's style,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you're spot on with how he likes to play.
Yeah.
And he played defensive back, so I can always appreciate that.
Played
too.
defensive back, and honestly, it doesn't have to be Big Ten experience, but the fact that he has Big Ten experience and has a history of defenses that work in this league matters a lot to me. Like that is, he's 1A on my list.
Huh.
Who was the name you were thinking of?
Like people that have listened to me for years.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if anybody in the chat said this, people that have listened to me for years know I have a weird affinity for this guy.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm quick scrolling. I can't read. I am probably the only guy in the state of Nebraska that is an avid honk for Justin Wilcox.
That was another name that so QBH just now, as you were saying that, put it in the chat.
If you've listened to me since as long as I've been doing this,
also would be a great hire.
I am a huge Justin Wilcox guy.
I think it would be a great hire. So
I thought he was way better than they gave him credit for at Cal.
I agree.
And so this just lets you, like, I'm a nerd when it comes to Wilcox. And so when he so Sark got him at Washington and SC. And SC, like Holt got fired. Nick Holt got fired, like it was quick. It was a quick turnaround. Wilcox was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And he followed Sark. And I like Sark. You know I like Sark.
Yeah.
Like I like Sark.
Yeah.
So
more than I do.
Yeah, and I get his temperament isn't for everybody, but it's I think it works in college football today.
I also think
he handles NIL and
mostly underperformed with the rosters he's had, but
he's prickly. There's a lot. You're right. Sark's more about what surrounds him.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I don't know if that makes him
he's elite offensive mind. I don't know what he is.
I like what he brings to the table. So, and I think his first year or that SC year, I think they were top 50 in scoring.
Yeah, right around there, I think.
I think he gave up. It was 400 yards or less, which then in the Pac-12
was a pretty solid number.
I'll take it. But what I really liked was when Chris took him at
Wisconsin.
At Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And they were elite. So that was like 16 maybe.
Yeah, it was 2016. It was right before Leonhard, I think.
And he was fantastic. I liked the way that they played. They were top 10 in scoring defense. He's familiar with the Big Ten. And so when he got to Cal, I just kept following him. Because it was one of my sister's last years at Cal. She was on campus at Berkeley before she went to San Francisco to be a Lady Don. I just followed him.
Yeah.
And I also joked that, when they were courting Marty and he was being wooed to Cal. And I was like, shoot, man. It's like, I feel like Rivera's kind of undermining Wilcox. Like, does Rivera want to be the head coach out there? Like, it just was this weird dynamic getting behind the scenes of the whole Cal deal. So I further developed an appreciation for Wilcox. He would be my guy right now.
I would be thrilled with that hire. I tend to believe, so there's two other names that I have been thinking about. One is a guy that I think was involved last year, and I think if they weren't in the playoff, he would have gotten the job, and that's Scott Simons at SMU.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I don't know.
I mean, I could be wrong. That's the sense that I get.
I hear that a lot. I don't
either for him. I don't have a strong opinion about him as a defensive coordinator. I know they've had good defenses down there. I don't have as big of a track record to be like, oh, I really like him, or I don't. I don't have a strong opinion about his ability, but I think that's a name that's probably in play. The other name that I think would be really interesting, if he wants to do this right now, is Mark Stoops. he was really, really good at Florida State before he took the Kentucky job. That's been a while now. But he's a guy who I think has a really good sense of how to play a hyper-aggressive defense that kind of has the demeanor you're talking about. That's a guy I would be interested in.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see.
I don't know if it's what he wants to do right now.
Stoops does without, I mean, losing Morrow and
Sure. Yeah.
like some of the recruiters he lost the last couple of years at Kentucky, like it was hard for him to replace.
Yeah.
So maybe just as a coordinator, he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it fits. I just don't know enough. I don't know if it fits my infectious
Sure.
personality thing because I don't know.
I don't either.
It doesn't really that doesn't really register with me. But like I said, if I had my druthers, I probably take Wilcox. I do think it's interesting. Like this bowl game is, this the notion or the narrative like Snow is some overarching shadow.
Yeah.
You got to see Coach Snow work. It's not even really how he operates.
Yeah.
He's not a, hey, you need to do this, do it guy.
Yeah.
He's not. He's more of a, hey, what do you need me to do? Or, hey, I think this is a good idea. What do you think?
How can I help?
Yeah, he's not.
Can I ask you a question?
It's just not his presence. I've joked.
Yeah.
You're the only one that like I tell you stories about.
Yeah. About how he
So,
operates,
like,
how
he's grossly misrepresented in terms of his style within the program.
Question about Snow.
Okay.
True or false? You may not know. This is probably just a gut on what you think.
I'll take it.
If he had wanted the job, he would have been the initial hire. Like if he wanted to still do this full time as a defensive coordinator. Now, I don't mean before Butler. I mean before Tony White. Like when Coach Rhule came here, if Phil Snow was still interested in doing this full time, he would have already been the guy.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay. Because that's the sense that's out there I think from a lot of the fan base.
I'll disagree on that.
Okay.
Now, gosh, that's kind of layered. So, would he have liked him on staff? Sure, in year one as kind of the safety blanket, a confidant to come along with me.
Kind of like he did this year.
I'll say yes.
Okay, but you don't think it would have been the DC?
I don't think he would. I don't think he would be I don't think he would be what Coach Rhule wanted as a long-term answer.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I gotcha. That makes sense. I think that's because I think that's a sense that's out there.
Yeah, I don't really agree.
Okay. Let me ask you this because this has come up in the chat a couple times. I think it's a fair question.
Okay.
Do you think there is a particular defensive style or schematic that he's looking for, or is it more about energy, personality, track record? Like, do you think he's like, hey, I want to hire another 3-3-5 guy or a 4-3 guy? Like, do you think that matters in this process?
Well, yes, but it's relative to what the roster has. So you have to look at the body types.
Okay.
And it's the chicken or the egg argument. I have this, and this on our roster.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we have to work with. Can we do this until we can flip, or I don't really want to flip later. This is what we have. Can you make this work?
Okay. So less
not a sexy answer, but it's practical.
So less philosophical, more practical.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I think a lot of people are thinking about it as a philosophical.
The better question for me is, and again, this is just because we talked about it before the hire last year, is he didn't take I hate how, and it's not anybody's opinion's fault because they don't know, but I hate how there's this sentiment that he hired Butler because it was the safe thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, and I told you the whole time, I'm like, God, this is killing. Like,
it's something he really had a hard time with.
He struggled. Really struggled. So the better question is, what did he learn this time around
that he'll apply?
That he'll apply to the hire.
I want to make sure I understand, or that I explain properly for the people listening about what the struggle was about. In my sense, the struggle Coach Rhule had with deciding to hire Butler versus going outside was, hey, I like maybe, he mentioned the sitting defensive coordinator thing that when he was going out in the search, I think I took that as experience. Somebody who had an experience doing this recently at this level versus kind of like some of the things we're already doing. How much do I want to upset the apple cart? Is that fair to sum down the struggle, or was it more than that?
Ask me one more time.
In my mind, the struggle was between basically experience versus status quo. I want a guy that's done this recently at this level versus I like some of the things we're doing already and don't necessarily want to change everything.
Okay, so I think the latter part is pretty important.
Okay.
I think he liked the preparation. I think he liked some of the things that they were doing philosophically. And given what his roster was going to be this year, it was advantageous. Because what you have to understand, and I think is part of it, if you don't want to start over completely philosophically, is what am I working with?
Okay. And clearly he didn't want to start over philosophically.
Well, there's a give and take there.
Or that's where he landed.
Yeah.
Right? That not wanting to.
Yeah, because I think I have these good young guys at this position. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think he's going to look for a couple of things. And how you get there, I guess they can talk through given what they're currently working with. But you ultimately, you have to be stout at the point of attack.
Yeah.
Right? You just –
whatever that looks like.
Whatever it looks like, you have to be stout at the POA. And then, two, I think he wants to be aggressive. It's just kind of who he is. So I wouldn't be surprised if there'll be more guys to change either roles or to be in and out of the program. But I think for right now, those are the keys.
It's my sense, kind of based on, you mentioned maybe possible more changes in the program. It's my sense based on what he said after hiring Dana full-time, that whoever the defensive coordinator is going to have quite a bit of say over the position coaches.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty typical, right?
And all coaches have non-negotiables. Right? I just had my coaching eval with Coach Lamonji, and this is just on the high school level, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are certain things he'll want me to do differently or give me freedom to do, but there are non-negotiables.
Yeah, like, hey, we have to do X, Y, Z.
So, or with this guy or this player. So I think all coaches have that. And Coach Rhule has to be cognizant of relationship builders, good recruiters.
You have to have the right mix.
Guys that understand how to operate within the building.
Yeah.
Right? Because the underrated part of this whole deal that people roll their eyes at, because Cignetti was able to do it, but Cignetti told you how to do it, and it worked, and we're just not – we don't really like it where we are. Is he hired guys that he trusted, that he knew, that had worked with him for double-digit years.
Yeah. How much?
And we've seen coaches try that.
Yeah.
And it hasn't worked because of – for whatever the reason.
Yeah.
Frost brought darn near his whole staff, and we were so mad.
I will say
Cignetti, hang on, though.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's good. It's fine. Just hold the thought. Yeah. I'm not making the case for or against. I'm just telling you what's happened before. And, or, you'll bring – a coach will bring his staff, like Langsdorf or whatever. And there's this, like, collective eye roll. It all can work as long as you win, is my point. Because it's not like when Cignetti brought his guys over from JMU, people didn't second guess or question, well, how does JMU translate to Bloomington? The difference is without the expectation level or benchmark, anything was going to be better than what you had. That's not what you're doing here. So I hate it's all fruit.
Yeah.
But it's apples to oranges.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say Signetti's not a fantastic coach, because he clearly is.
Mm-hmm. But it's different to do it at Indiana versus.
He did it
Mm-hmm.
in similar ways other coaches have tried. And we called them buddy hires.
Yeah. So here's the one thing I will say is different between
experience,
the length of the relationships.
Does
and
it matter where they are?
So I think it matters the amount of success they had.
Regardless of level.
Yeah, I do. Because
what if I wanted to hire a successful high school coach?
As an assistant?
Yeah. Is that different than hiring a successful guy at JMU going to Bloomington?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think
I'm just looking for the
I think
parameters in which we're going to justify this, because I don't want to move the goalposts.
Much like we do with players, I think you have to have a very clear idea of what the desired result is and what you believe the characteristics are that get you that desired result. I think it's the same on a coaching staff as it is with players. If you've got a desired result, let's say it's your desired result of a certain attitude and a certain level of aggression from your defensive coordinator or from your defense. Your defensive coordinator has to embody those things in order to get that desired result. Your defensive coordinator then has to hire or help you hire assistants that have those characteristics to get that desired result, right? The thing about Curt Cignetti is he knew with that staff, because you mentioned double-digit years, and they had won, just Google him, at every single stop they'd been at. So he had a history of knowing for a fact that the characteristics of the staff that he trusted around him led to the results he desired. The difference between him and Frost, and then this isn't a hating on Frost thing, the difference is Scott Frost to this day has one winning season ever. And he only had 2 with that coaching staff at UCF. So he didn't really know, right? He didn't actually know the things that Curt Cignetti knows about the guys he's bringing with him. He may have thought he knew, but he didn't actually know. So to me, that would be the difference between, and to be fair, you don't know until you take them and it doesn't or does work.
That's kind of what I was going to land.
Which is totally fair. That's a totally fair point. But that's where, and this is where we get the revisionist history and the benefit of hindsight. That's where the buddy hire comes in. If it works out, it's like, oh, look at the chemistry and the trust on that coaching staff. If it doesn't work out, it's like, why'd he hire all of his buddies?
Yeah, I think the thing that I struggle with is it's a little disingenuous to want to have this comparison of Coach X did it, and like, why can't we, when we've never really allowed even similar thought processes to play out before we were super judgmental.
Correct.
So if that's going to be the case, then just say all that matters is if they win or not.
And let's be honest, that's all that does matter.
Yeah, but the problem is we got all these strong opinions while we're tearing things down in the meantime till we figure it out.
Like, and it makes it harder to figure out.
We're so quick to want to judge everybody else's behavior, but we never stop and say, well, man, am I contributing? And some people do, but then you'll get the, man, I pay my this, so I should get to do this. But nope, but if you heard a coach say, you're paying me to do this and this is my job, so I'm going to do this, like we would be mortified.
Yeah.
Right? But, it just so happens in one of our pregame deals, we bring in a guy to help with the mental outlooks. He works with championship caliber teams around the country. Nebraska volleyball is one of them. And he doesn't have a dog in the fight when it comes to Nebraska versus not Nebraska. I'm looking at old Curt Cignetti clips from Ooey Pooey, from Indiana, Fort Wayne. I can't even, it's changed names.
Yeah.
But his starting point.
The D2, whatever. Yeah.
He sounds the exact same. He sounds the exact same. And when he tells you, hey, my strength coach I had for 11 years. My DC I had for 12 years. My OC. So he knew what we were about. Like, when we're in the building, this is the day-to-day. I don't know if this is hyperbole, but he says, listen, on Mondays it's 45 minutes. We practice for an hour 35, hour 40. We try to be efficient. I want our guys fresh. Do you know why that's cool?
Because they won.
Because they win.
Yeah.
Could he say that out loud?
No. Because they'd be like, why aren't you practicing longer? That's not long enough.
Because
what are you
of
doing?
the expectations.
Yep.
It's like it just is what it is, and we dance around it like that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's a flawed comparison. And I get your whole they're both fruit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think his situation is unique.
Yeah.
It just is.
No, I agree. I think it is significantly easier to build something when no one's watching.
Or that no one cares.
Yeah. Because there is also this, I mean, if we want to talk.
We act like if you make a certain amount of money, you should be above opinions. But in reality,
that's literally not true of any person.
When you're encompassed by it and you're engulfed by it all the time, like it can influence you.
Yeah.
Now, well, what do they do in Columbus or what do they do in Georgia? I'm sure all those things are true. Mm-hmm. The problem is guess where we're not?
At the same place they are.
We're not in Columbus and we're not in Georgia. So why do I care? I can only address how it manifests itself where I'm at. Mm-hmm. I can only address how I need to be where my feet are at.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know.